Guys, what's up? What's up? What's up? We're back. We're back in action. Hopefully, you guys like my little horrible Photoshop job I did to promote this call. But hey, look. So Tuesday was awesome. Thursday is going to be even better. Today's going to be better. I got Chad. I bribed him. I got some good stuff coming for you guys today. Yeah, there's going to be some stuff we're going to give away today. That's going to be incredibly valuable. I'll tell you about that more at the end. I have some names pulled out of a hat, and I'm going to have them placed in a certain place for you guys to go see if your name has been picked. And the prize is pretty legit, brought to you by Chad himself, and I think you're going to be pretty pumped to get it. But the purpose of today's call is on Tuesday we hit best practices, tips and tricks, a lot of stuff to make sure listings didn't get suspended. And Chad was kind of showing you different privacy leaks, little stuff. And there's like 700 comments on that video. So it was awesome. I know people have been asking. So we're going to cover a couple of the common questions that came up that we didn't get to on Tuesday's call. We're going to go into some other tips and tricks for ranking your GMBs in 2018. And I'm going to kind of hand it over to Chad. He's kind of got an outline put together, and he's got some excellent stuff. I went through the outline with him before this call. So I'm pumped, man. Thanks for being back on with us. And thanks for answering all the people's questions too. You don't have to do that, but I appreciate it.
Yeah. Awesome. No problem. I was typing my fingers. I was typing my fingers off there, trying to keep up. The Facebook Live really flows. I want to just cover a couple things and about the privacy stuff, because I think when I was talking that way, I think it might have struck some fear in people's hearts, and maybe that's probably not as crazy of a risk as you all think. And I wanted to say one thing: the stuff I talked about the Firefox profiles, I would just say, just do it. It's going to do so much for you. And if you didn't watch that video, you can go back and watch the other one about the Firefox profiles. But just doing Firefox profiles and one per GMB is going to do awesome for you for privacy. And I really think you can rest at ease if you're doing that. I mean, really, we have I had one of my outsourcers has a machine with it's hundreds of these Firefox profiles in there, and these listings really last. So, and then the other thing is just the spam score thing. I think is another thing. If you didn't watch the video, go and watch it. I talk about spam score, because I think there's hundreds of people here in JK that have literally never been suspended ever. And they're like, what are they talking about? Yeah. And they got money flowing in from their lead gens, no suspensions at all. And a lot of that has to do with, they might've even accidentally done it, but their spam score is super low and they're not even being looked at or checked out at all. And so, if you can watch that and keep your spam score down, and then use the Firefox profiles, I think you're going to do great with these lead gens. And this is what I do. This is what I do all day. So, and I've got listings that have lasted for months and months and years, bringing in money. So you even have, actually the majority of your business is actually GMBs with actually no website attached to it. So you don't even build out a lead gen site. You're just dropping these things in markets. We're going to talk about that a little bit more today. And kind of that question seemed to come up a lot on how that works. We'll talk about that, but yeah, I think you're right. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think I saw a bunch of people freaking out, this is going to add all this extra time to my process and all this stuff, and it's at the end of the day, we have such a unique business. You're in your house, I'm in my house, everyone's in their house watching this. We're able to run these incredible businesses, incredible amounts of money to be made, and sometimes adding little steps to the process, although annoying, so is running on a treadmill, shape. So sometimes you got to do stuff that isn't always, it steps you out of your comfort zone, or it's a little bit different, but you know what, that's how we evolve. That's how we get better. And it's really great that we're getting these tips from someone like you that has thousands of listings across the web and has been doing this for 10 years plus, because it's valuable information, even though it might not be comfortable. Yeah, and once you get used to it, I just open Firefox. There's the profiles. I just pick the one I'm looking for and click, and I'm in. So it's 2 seconds extra. It's a different mindset, but yeah, it's pretty fast, and it'll keep you clean, keep you squeaky clean, and keep Google liking you.
Cool. Let's rip this thing. Let's jump into kind of the outline that you want to nail down today and give.
Yeah. So and actually the first thing I was going to talk about is proper research, because we're going to talk about ranking right now. And I know you guys have a whole research section here in the JK process. And so I just want to underscore, follow that process, because your research is really key. And, people were asking on the chat, like, how can you set up these GMBs without any website? And the answer is really, it's research. It's because if you find those markets where you see people ranking without a website, or even you see people ranking and you look at it and you're like, they don't really know what they're doing.
Right.
Then a lot of times you can jump in with some of these JK tricks, like putting the keyword in the business name and stuff like that, which I'll talk about some of that stuff later too. And you'll see your listing rank in that map area of search without a website at all, which is really powerful.
Yeah, I did. I was messing around with some of the stuff that you have in your training, and I put up just a dummy GMB, no website attached. Put a tracking costing number on it it's like super weird, obscure niche. And I basically use the research stuff that you say, and I get calls on it to this day. It comes into my phone. It always screws me up because I'm like, because it was just like a test, but no website, just a tracking phone number and a GMB listing in a marketplace that was wide open in an obscure niche. And it's not a cheap product and service that is offered. Like, It's multi-thousands of dollars. I probably need to put it in touch with someone, but it was more, I was just testing the methods that you talk about in some of your training.
Yep. Yeah. I have those too where this is like a GMB I threw up there to test. And then I was in my phone system. I was like, wait, what number is that? Like, I'm listening to the recording of the person leaving me a message.
Yeah.
And so one of the keys to the research really, and let me just show my screen real quick here, is using my software. I really want to encourage you guys to get it. It's on the resource page, and let me just show it real quick because I didn't really share it. I need you to open up the sharing for me.
Oh yeah, let me help you out there.
But yeah, doing the research will show you those holes. And let me show you the software. And this is a part of this software is on the resource page. gmbking.com. And you can see here, this is like the matrix that the software makes for you. So you basically you put in your keywords and you put in your local area, and it'll pretend that it's sitting over in that. So it could be across the whole country. It'll pretend you're sitting in that country, and it'll do a search, and it'll pull all this data from the top 10 listings in that specific geographic area for that keyword. So it makes it really fast to find holes. Like for instance, you can see here, like right here is a big one, right? Keyword in business name. I don't know if you guys can see that small type, but right down the list, it tells you who has a keyword in the business name and who doesn't. And if you see like the top 3 or 4 don't have a keyword in the business name, even more so if you see over here, like they don't have a website, it's like, you got to jump on that. And you might even not need to have a website to rank in that. If you see the top 3 or 4, there's no website, there's no keyword in the business name, you'd be surprised how many businesses are out there that they have a Google listing on maps. They don't even know how they got there. Like they're not optimizing it. They haven't claimed it. And these types of opportunities really still exist. So that's how we do it. And obviously we have it scaled like massively. But this software will shortcut that process for you. And you can even just, if you have an idea one day, just pop open the software, run your searches and check out what they've got. So most of the ranking signals that we know about, like the website backlinks, the domain authority,
Can you talk about the domain authority a little bit for everyone to just kind of wrap their head around that? Yeah, and actually we have a whole video on this as part of the training of the software. It's the free videos that come with the software. Okay. But we actually pulled, this domain authority number is pulled from Moz. Yep. So it's a Moz. If you go to Moz, the website, they have more detailed kind of scientific explanations, but it basically shows they have a scale. I think it's like 0 to 100 or something of how authoritative is the website, which basically means how many links does it have and how many
how many pages are indexed in Google for that website. Those are kind of like two basic factors that show how powerful the website is to Google. And other factors too. They got this whole algorithm to figure it out. But like, if you see here, we've got this guy. I mean, you can really start to see some stuff. So you've got, I don't know if you can see the type, it's really small, but like ABC Kid Dentist, all right? That looks like a lead gen to me. I don't know about you guys, but ABC Kid Dentist. But you see here, his domain authority is only 15.
Right.
And on either side of him, he's got an 87 domain authority and a 42 domain authority. And so this shows me someone looked at this and said, I can do something with this. Right under them, number 4 doesn't even have a website. So maybe they have a website, but they might just not have it connected to their GMB. Like they don't know what they're doing. Like maybe it's an old guy who runs a family dentist shop. But that shows that you can get in here without all the bells and whistles that you might think you need to compete and start getting phone calls right away. So sometimes we'll do this just to test the market. Like just, hey, I wonder if I could get any calls for this.
Right.
And just throw a GMB up there, you know, put a tracking phone number on it, maybe get some citations or whatever, and just see what happens.
Quick question, just so I understand. This software is obviously free. You're letting everyone use it for free.
Yeah.
Sick. Is it unlimited? Do they get unlimited searches with
unlimited?
This?
Yeah, unlimited searches. So because it just it uses the Google API and it uses the Moz API. So it pulls from both those. There is some scraping involved of Google for like citations and stuff, but you can actually right here, this is the video shows how to use it, but you can increase your delay between queries. So then if you find yourself like the software is getting errors and stuff like that, you can always increase it like up to 10. And that means it'll wait 10 seconds each time it pulls like a data piece. I mean, yeah, we're getting kind of geeky about it, but it helps you to be able to just search all day long and never get smacked or have Google say, oh, too many searches and throw up like a little CAPTCHA or something for you.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, if you're using the software and you start getting any errors, just increase your seconds delay so that you're not hitting Google so many times. Because each one of these things, it's like pulling down a data point. You know,
I noticed it like the page index isn't showing up. Is that just like some areas of the search? It just sometimes the software isn't pulling it, or it's just not getting the correct. How does that work?
Yeah, I need to take a look at that because I think these are both scraping factors.
Okay.
So, and I actually talked to my brother because he's kind of in charge of this software. I was like, make sure it works, dude, because I'm going to go and tell them all to go get it. And he's like, yeah, I used it yesterday. So, but I'll talk to him. I don't know. It might have just been this one search.
Yeah, that's cool. I just want people to know, like, even without the page index and citations, there's so much good information here and so quickly accessible that when you talk about research, I couldn't agree more. Like, I always say the riches are in the niches, bitches. And like being able to find niches that are like low hanging fruit is, you know, where you can go pop in a GMB and a tracking number, and all of a sudden you could be getting leads before you know it, but it's done with the research.
Yep. And actually, now that you brought it up, website citations. So this is actually not citations of the name, address, and phone number. This is actually citations of the website itself, which means places on the web where the website is listed, but it's not an active link.
Got it.
This is actually a ranking trick you might not know about, but Google counts website citations and website links. So if you've got your website actually listed and it's not even an active link, it still helps your ranking. And that's why we have this column, because I want to know if somebody's got their website like everywhere, maybe like a news article went out about them and the links didn't get active, but they're actually site URLs listed everywhere.
Right.
That's still a really powerful ranking factor. So that's why we put that one in.
Got it.
Okay. So proper research, you know, I think I made my point. You know, make sure you're doing your research and looking for those holes. And actually my course also talks about in the full course that we're going to talk about a little later, I give some keyword research tips too, to help you zero in on keyword research in a certain area. So, you know, like all of USA might get like certain number of searches for dentist, but you want to know how many people actually inside Chicago are searching for dentist every day. And so in our keyword research videos, we talk about how to there's some tools we use to zero in on just the city. And then you can pretty much for sure. So you go to my software, you see a hole, and you're like, oh man, I could rank here very easily. Then you go and use our keyword research technique to see how many people are actually searching in this little circle, like in just the Chicago area.
I didn't know that you could get that data.
Yeah, just Chicago. So it's not a lot of people know about that, but that can really make or break your campaign, because you want to know before you set up a whole GMB and the website and everything, are people actually start using this phrase in this area? Like they're sitting there.
Yeah, that's killer information. I've always kind of done the whole like I guess try to guess and be like, hey, do people have teeth? Yeah, okay, then there's probably dentists here. Probably. And I just looked at population size and kind of tried to do like back of the napkin mathematics, and it's worked out for me. But yeah, the more scientific you can get, the better. That makes tons of sense.
And it does and that works too. I mean, really, I'm kind of a geek, so I like to zero way in on that kind of stuff, but you could totally figure that out from like population, city size, and then look at the national keyword.
That's what I do. And I just divide it out accordingly.
Yeah, just divide it. And you can even do like even more simple caveman math, like 10% is going to be local searches, stuff like that can usually get you pretty far too. But this will really help you the keyword research stuff in the course will really help you to kind of know for sure with confidence, I really know people in Chicago are searching for this. And it also helps you zero in on different phrases, because in different parts of the country and even in different places in the world, they might search a slightly different term more for the same service. Or you might find like you want to go into, say, plumbing, and in certain areas, people are searching to get their sewers rotted out like all the time, Yeah. And then in other areas like Arizona, it's like maybe they're not really getting their sewers rotted out as much, and there's other issues. So it can help you kind of zero in geographically on those keyword phrases that are like really hyper local. Put your GMB right there, man. And other people aren't doing the research, so it puts you at an advantage. You're going to find even more holes there when you're like, man, check this out. They have this plumbing problem in Las Vegas or whatever, and they don't have it in Chicago. And boom, you put yourself right in there.
One thing I always, I'm big on as much research. Obviously, learning more techniques, the better. But you look at any successful business, you look at McDonald's, or you look at like Walmart's, and you look at Bed Bath & Beyond's or Starbucks, and the amount of research that goes into them placing themselves in these certain locations, drive-by traffic, walk-by traffic, entire studies are done for the traffic flow that's going by those areas and the adjacent businesses that they put themselves by. You'll see a lot of times you see Bed Bath & Beyond, you see a Starbucks right nearby, right? And there's so much that goes into that. And, these businesses, a good, like a Subway, let's say, there's a lot of thought that goes into placing a Subway business. And, the average Subway makes, the business under $50,000 to $80,000 a year. But yet all this thought and process went into just finding that specific, perfect researched location. We have GMBs that could make us $50,000 a year. It's not out of the ordinary. I've done it. You've done it.
Totally.
And we'll spend 32 seconds on research and just be like, yep, that's the one. Boom. And, it's a blessing and it's a curse how easy it is for us to make money with these skill sets. But take the time to research before you go and drop your pin or drop your whole entire business model in this one area. Find if there is the traffic. Use some of these keyword techniques that he's sharing. Use this software tool that he's giving you guys for free. These are huge research edges that you're giving yourself in the marketplace.
Yep, totally. Yeah, and I think again, and with that, I also want to say don't get analysis paralysis.
Totally.
But yeah, it's with a few extra minutes, you can find out a lot from these types of tools, from my software, from the keyword research videos that we have. So that's proper research. That's key. It's like they say in real estate. You make your money when you buy. Really, that's how it works. Because it's like, did you get a good deal? What location was it in? It's the same thing with GMBs. You make all your money right when you in that initial research phase,
Mm-hmm.
because that means you have to spend less to rank. You don't have to work as hard to rank. It ranks faster, and there's more calls. So yeah. Okay, now I want to talk a little bit about fundamentals too. I'm going to share another. Go back to my screen here.
Cool.
I want to just encourage you guys too. I'm going to talk about a lot of tricks right now. So that's why I wanted to start with fundamentals. I'm going to talk about some like stuff you probably haven't ever heard of for ranking, but I want to say don't skip fundamentals. The stuff I'm about to share is to give you an edge up on everybody else once you're in the space. But make sure you're doing your fundamentals in JK. There's the process to go through as far as how to rank, backlink, citations, all that stuff. Make sure you're getting it. Now, this is an awesome, we can put this link in the resource area. This is an awesome overall view of the local search ranking factors. And this is a study that goes out every year. So this is actually from last year. So they haven't come out with this year's yet.
Okay.
But it doesn't change that much year to year, except this year it actually did change somewhat. But you can see this is the percentage. This is in the local packs. That means the little map, when you do a search in Google and the map shows up with the 3 under it. These are the ranking factors that are the biggest. So my business signals, so that's stuff like your category, your keyword in the business name, your how close you are to the searcher, stuff like that.
Right.
Here we've got backlinks.
Okay.
You know about backlinks.
Yep.
And on page, that's on your site itself, is your name, address, and phone number on there. Is your keyword in the title tag, how powerful is your domain, how much content do you have on it, that type of stuff. So you can see half of it right here. Even though I'm going to talk about a lot of tricks right now, half of it is just these 3 fundamental things. And year to year, these keep being the main ranking factors for GMB. And the nice thing is 2 of them get you a twofer. So if you do good on your links and you do good on your on-page stuff, your content on your site, you're going to rank outside the pack as well. So that's the awesome thing for that. This is a win-win right here to focus on the link signals and the on-page signals. And then obviously my business signals is the actual GMB stuff. So again, we can put this, you can read, it gets into a lot of detail. You can read about it. But make sure you're doing fundamentals. So everything, make sure you're going through the whole JK process in detail and following it. Because that's going to be, it works. The process works. Okay. So that said, this one here, my business signals, I don't know if you can read it right here, but one of the things is, proximity. Okay. It's one of the main ranking factors as far as your GMB, and proximity means how close is the address of your GMB to the person searching. And so as far as Google is concerned, the person who's actually typing in a search in their phone or in their desktop is the center of the search, and they're going to try to give them listings that are as close to that as possible. And so for us, what that means is we want more listings. Because anywhere someone is, whether it's on a desktop or on a phone, when someone searches for my keywords, I want my GMB to show up there.
Right.
Which it does mean more listings. So I want to encourage you guys, a lot of you guys out there, you have some GMBs, you found a great niche. It's making you, 1,000, maybe 5,000 a month, maybe maybe $500 a month. If you found a good niche, you found a good location, expand out from that. Get more GMBs up around that, because it means probably someone 1 mile away, that's also probably going to be a winner. Maybe even half a mile away might be a winner.
When I started a carpet cleaning business up in Eugene years ago, when I learned all this stuff from you, and I'm all about like owning the business too, because I'm weird.
Yeah.
And I went in with a guy and I literally went to every zip code, because proximity's always been important, right? I went to every zip code and dropped GMBs with different tracking numbers, because I knew I'm the only guy in that zip code. Everyone was in one part of town, and I'm like, well, yep. I'm gonna pick up all that search. And then I did it with my taxi company. So I love that technique, and I think you're right. it's overlooked, and they don't have to build a whole lead gen site.
No.
They could just drop a GMB, and it might only pick up 5 calls a month. But you dropped it in every zip code all over town, and you'll get into like how you get all these listings. I know you'll talk about that in a minute or later. But it's you pick up 5 in this zip code, 5 in this zip code, and all of a sudden in that same town, you picked up an extra 25, 30 calls a month, which it could be worth a ton of money.
Yep.
So,
and you remember, you spent all this time doing research. Maybe you spent time getting it up, and now you've got a winner. And not a lot of people know that specific niche in that city is a winner. You know it though, and that's powerful knowledge. That means start to expand it out.
Don't use the same phone number. You'll get into that. We've talked about that, but like just really important things. If you go and do a new GMB, do not use your same tracking call sling number on that second GMB. You have to have a new phone number, because otherwise it will triangulate the listings, leave a footprint. It's not what you want to do.
Yeah, and not to mention Google just gets confused, because if you've got similar phone numbers with real close business names, sometimes they'll like mix up the data and they'll pull some data from it. That's when you start to see sometimes your phone numbers get switched up on you on accident, because it's all the algorithm is just trying to figure it all out. So yeah, if you can come up with a unique business name too for those, just and a unique phone number, definitely those 2 things will be good. And I wouldn't even use the same website. I would just throw it up with no website if you're testing it out. Yep. Or just register another domain, because that'll confuse Google too. Obviously, unless I know you guys have talked to JK about using like one big website for like multiple GMBs. So if you're doing that strategy, then you could just add a page to your big site,
sure,
and connect that one page to the new GMB that you're testing. But you don't want to have like the exact same URL,
right,
for all those ones that you're testing. But yeah, get more listings up. And one of our big sources of this, and I'm sure some of these people have tried this, is Craigslist. And I know, so there's going to be people on here who are going to say, I tried Craigslist, it doesn't work. But I'm going to tell you, it does work. We have scaled this Craigslist process huge and automated almost the whole thing. But if you don't know what this technique is, it's basically like you go on Craigslist and you're going to go into the, you can use different categories. I like to use gigs because it sort of says to the people like this is a short-term job. And I'll post to pay someone to receive a postcard for me. And we have some, you have to get the ad copy right. Let's just put it that way. Because we've tried this a lot of different ways. And sometimes if you post in there just blatantly like, accept a postcard, and I'll send you a pin, I'll send you $25, they'll think they kind of wig out and freak out about it, and they won't do it for you. But if you use some creative ad copy, we've kind of like whittled our ad copy down, then this can really work. And Craigslist is all over the USA, and it's in other countries. And we've done really well with Craigslist. In fact, I was just tracking back some of our sales. I think it was just a couple of weeks ago. And I was amazed at how many of these old Craigslist ads from like last year and the year before. And again, these were like, we didn't put up a website for them or anything. We just hired someone to do. And actually they not only got the postcard, we were paying them to set up the entire thing. So like literally we were paying them to set up, to log in, set up the GMB, get the postcard, and put in the PIN and everything. And we gave them what phone number to put in. And those things are still ranking and bringing us sales to this day. And those aren't our main like ones. Like those aren't the ones that we're really investing in. Those are just like side deals we just threw out there through Craigslist.
Can you give us an idea of like, what do you pay someone for a little gig like that?
So we've done anywhere from, what I usually do is I tell them $10 per hour.
Perfect.
Because this is a gig. They're looking for like a part-time little thing. So work from home, $10 an hour. But then I tell them once they get in, then I pay them more than that just to get the postcard. Because really I don't care if they ever talk to me again. If they could just put the pin in and get my GMB out there, I'll pay them more than that. But yeah, it doesn't cost that much. I see some of these ads, people trying to do this for like $100, $200. I'm like, man, you really don't have to pay that much to get someone to do the postcard. but you do have to have like non-creepy ad copy. I mean, that's really the key, because some of these people, I see them on there all the time posting. It's so creepy sounding if you think about it from like a non-internet marketing perspective.
Yeah.
Like, man. But
have you ever messed with microgigs.com?
Yeah, you talking about like micro workers? You mean?
Yeah, is it micro workers? I wonder if it would work on there as well. Probably would.
Yeah, I never tried that. It's a good idea.
That'd be good. It'd be kind of cool to test it.
Yeah, that's a
people do stuff for like 10 cents on there. Like,
yeah,
they do. But I mean, obviously but if you offer a gig that's like expensive, like I did some stuff on there and I paid really, really well. And it was like, everyone wanted to work for me.
Yep. There's also Mechanical Turk. You could use Mechanical Turk for that too.
Yep.
Yeah, and Mechanical Turk, you might get in trouble there. I'm not sure. I haven't read their terms of service, but I know MicroWorkers is real friendly to internet marketers, so you can do all types of this type of stuff on MicroWorkers, and they don't give you a hard time about it.
Yeah,
we use MicroWorkers a lot for different types of things, but yeah. But I did want to say, like, if you really want to get into this Craigslist thing, or maybe you've tried it and it hasn't worked, we teach in my full course, we teach like our whole method, which is like, it's a scalable automated thing where it's like, we've got autoresponders going and I teach the whole thing, but it's really the way to scale it really huge. And cause you might find too, you might have trouble getting your ads out there. Sometimes depending on the ad copy, Craigslist might give you a hard time, but we've worked the way through all that and automated it so that you're not sitting there like answering Craigslist emails all day and stuff like that.
So this is how you basically have, because like everyone was asking on Tuesday, like what are some of the methods that you use to get your addresses in, like how do you have thousands of GMBs? And so is this what you're kind of referring to? Is this, if you want to do onesie twosies, you could go do exactly what you just said right now. Go on Craigslist, write a non-creepy ad, do it in the gig section, and you can get a listing. And then you're like, well, if you want to be like nutso like me and you want to go to the thousands, like you guys have processed down step by step how you do this on a large scale and automated the entire thing. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and automated it. And not only that, but I would say even because if you think about it, let's say you're like, I want to do 20. I want to do 20 in my city.
Yeah.
Even that, it's a lot of back and forth. You're going to have a lot of emails. You're going to have people answering your ad that don't do anything. And there's all that stuff we've automated so that to like reduce the actual hours spent kind of managing all these Craigslist. Because you put an ad out there for like, I'll pay you to do something for me at home. It's like people are going to answer it like crazy, you know? And so you got to think about the time involved there too. So that's, even if you want to do like 15 or 20, I would say go for the automated stuff that we teach in the course because it reduces all that legwork down. But yeah, you could go literally, you guys could do it while we're on this call, put your ad out on Craigslist. And probably by the time this call is done, you're going to have emails coming. It's really amazing. I mean, and you know, in today's environment too, people are looking for extra cash.
Oh yeah. And it's
10, 20
more
bucks.
Normal. You got Ubers, you got DoorDash, you got Amazon delivering stuff. So putting a little gig out that someone can do for 10, 20 bucks an hour. And that, I love what you said. You made them set up so that, hey, you got to go get the Gmail, verify it with your phone. You got to go and you got to set it up. Here's the videos of how I want you to set it up. So the pictures and the whole thing. They're setting up and optimizing your GMB for you, getting the postcard, getting their money, and they're pumped.
And
how do you, just a quick question, how do you pay them? Do they want payment up front or do you pay them at time when the card comes?
I pay them when they put the pin in, because that's really the main thing I want.
Okay.
But you'll have people, some people will get it. Like they'll get the idea. I've had guys do multiples. They'll be like, oh man, my mom lives across town. Could she do it? I'm like, dude, boom. Yes. Second one, boom. Third one, you know, and they'll get or one lady, she like got one from her office and then she traveled to Florida on a business trip. She got a postcard down there for me. I mean, so some people will get the idea and they'll really work for you. And the nice thing is all the privacy stuff we talked about is solved.
Yes.
They're doing it from their own. It's a clean IP address. This is not an internet marketer we're talking about. You know, this is just a regular person who's got a Google account who like emails their mom photos.
Yep.
And so they're clean. They're squeaky clean people as far as Google is concerned. And it really makes your listings last too. So yeah, it's an awesome technique. If you've tried it and failed, I'd encourage you jump into the course because it really does work. Again, there's some tricks to it for doing a lot of them, but you might say, man, I tried that Craigslist thing. It didn't work, but it really does work. I would give it another go.
Yeah. So to the nervous Nelly out there that's watching, I just want to say a couple things. So
Yeah.
a few things. The way we teach it in the training. So first of all, I saw a couple people, hey, do UPS stores, do PO boxes, do these things work anymore? Yes, they work. We're trying to give you guys new ideas. We're trying to give you guys like outside of just the JK sphere. I'm trying to bring a guy in that's done thousands of these things and give you guys different ideas. But as I was talking to you on the phone yesterday, you still use the local mailbox places, and you have some tips and tricks of how to best make sure those things stay active, or you pick a right one, right?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. You want me to talk about that right now?
That'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the key things is to try to stay away from big chains. I like to find, and again, you can find these people on Craigslist. Craigslist is an awesome tool for local marketing. So like I had a guy, he was just a landlord. He had in his lower level, he had a commercial space, and I just emailed him. He was like, I think it was like Office for Rent or something like that. He was just a guy. He wasn't a chain. He wasn't a big name. People like that are awesome for this because, again, it's going to be really hard to like map out a footprint for them. So somebody like me, you know, if I've got like 100 listings in a certain market, I don't want all of those to be like UPS stores or whatever. I want it to be like no footprint. Like it's just random addresses, random. So if I would, guys, I would go on Craigslist and look for your independent operators, you know, or maybe they're just in only one city.
Like I have like a pack and post here. It's like, that's what I have mine at. The pack and post is like fully run by like a Russian dude. And
yeah, totally. Yeah. And there's a lot of these little businesses, people that like, oh man, I'll start up a mailbox center, you know, and in there that you can make copies and get your mail.
Did you know also, if you guys have a bookkeeper or an accountant, a lot of times your accountant will actually allow you to have mail sent to them. If you ask them for your business, like, hey, I want my business mail sent there. And attorneys sometimes will as well for a nominal fee. So just some little tidbits.
Yep. Yeah. So there's a lot of those opportunities, but again, the way we get them to last is by just decreasing that footprint, you know? So we've used the big ones. We've used, you know, just a regular PO box. We've used Regus, which is like, you know, everywhere and done that successfully, but it does kind of increase your footprint as far as like,
totally,
you know, yeah. So
they map the whole freaking world. They know, but the funny thing is like still the UPS stores and even you're just saying like, they still work to this day, but you're just saying, hey, and it makes sense. It's like, if you don't want someone to know where you're at, you probably don't go to the place where they know where you're at, right? But it doesn't mean that you can't get away with it or you can't have a business there. It just, you're trying to come up with ideas for people to get outside the sphere of getting an address.
Yeah. And hide your address. Do you guys talk about hiding the address in JK? Yeah. So make sure you hide your address. So that helps too. So that way, no like kind of regular person can look and see exactly where it is.
Right.
So then the only people that would ever see that it's a PO box or UPS store would be someone inside Google. And the reality is, you probably, if you got 5-10 GMBs, you're probably not that important to Google that they're going to like assign an individual to. I mean, sometimes we could wear like a tinfoil hat and think like Google's like looking at, you got cameras looking at me, but like probably not, you know. So hiding your address can be big too. But so my thing is for addresses, usually I look first for like just a mom and pop shop, you know, like you said, run by some Russian dude. It's just like a no-name mailbox place. Then under that, then I'll go to like a UPS store type place. And then under that PO box, and then down below PO box is Regus, because Regus is like huge too.
Right.
But you know, Regus can sometimes get you into trouble. So I try to put Regus down at the bottom. I think you guys have a whole PDF though of options.
We do. You know, like anything, like I think it's a frustration point for all of us, including yourself, which is why we come up with innovative ideas of finding the address. Like in any business, there's little frustration, like sticking points that you got to work your way through. And it's those of us that find the ways through win. Those of us that decide that that's the wall we're going to hit and we're going to run away, we lose. But the beautiful thing is like, you know, 5 or 10 GMBs can rip out $5,000 or $10,000 a month. That's the beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So how badly do you really want to get out of the situation you're in if you're not in a great monetary situation? That's the beautiful thing. One thing I have seen with people on the Craigslist thing, this always cracks me up, right? Because I've had some crazy stuff. I've shared some of the stuff that's happened to me online with just stalkers and whack jobs that like send me pictures of my family and my house and try to shake me down for money. And I call the FBI and they were like, we don't really care. I've seen people that literally like, oh, if you ask someone on Craigslist to take mail, you're committing a federal offense and you're going to go to jail. And I'm like, God,
No.
man, here is a bad thing. Here is a bad thing because fear will keep you boxed in on being afraid of your own shadow. So what would you say to that?
Yeah, no. And again, I'm real careful to never do anything illegal.
Yep.
So even though I might walk on the gray side, you know, to me, like Google's rules and like the law are two different. I mean, Google's rules are it's just a company. It's just a company. It's not a legal.
It's like you and I made some rules up and we're like,
exactly.
Everyone followed them. If you don't follow them, Dan and Chad are coming for you.
Yeah. So I don't want to touch, you know, anything illegal, you know, like, well, there's illegal ways you can do it. I mean, I know guys that are doing it illegally and, and, you know, this is not the Craigslist thing or even like a mailboxes store. It's not committing like mail fraud or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it's when when you get into, you know, I don't even want to say some of the illegal.
But I want people to be relieved of this like ridiculous fear because it's like you said, like Google's a company. Google installs stuff on your phones where they're listening to us talk right now. It's like that's their own deal. That's their own company, and they get to make their rules. Whether or not how we play ball is how we play ball. In Google's eyes, we said this before, but if backlinking is against their quote unquote terms of service because they want you to pay them for their advertising. They're in the business of making money. So anyway, I just want people off that like wagon. I don't even want to have to respond to it. So I thought we'd talk about it.
Yeah. I do want to say that though, because I think it's important. Some people get real creative and, you know, we're not talking about doing illegal stuff here. You know, that's a huge risk to your business that you don't want to take.
100%.
And it's not necessary. You know, I mean, Google's rules, they change all the time. People are like literally people that try to follow the rules. They chase Google's rules like month to month because they'll be like, oh, we posted new guidelines. And it's like, oh man, I can't do that anymore. You know, and it's actually hard to follow Google's rules 100%. So, but yeah, we're not talking about the law here. We're talking about just creative ways to get your postcards.
Yeah.
So, and according to the law, anyone can put a business anywhere.
That's right.
It's not illegal to have a business in your house.
That's right.
According to the law. So you don't have to worry about that. It's not illegal to rent your house, which is essentially what these people do for you. They rent their house out as an ad for your business. I mean, that's essentially what they're doing for you, which also isn't illegal. So this is all like, you know, legally above board. So you don't really have to worry about that.
All right. Before you get to your next topic, I want to let everyone know we're going to be giving out. Chad's obviously he's got so many years of experience in this, and he's got a lot of his techniques that are way beyond and above what I teach you guys in JK. I'm going to be giving out some free access to his training. So stay tuned for that because I'm going to be picking a few people off this stream and giving you guys access into his training course, which is pretty awesome. A lot of these upper level strategies. So stay tuned. Give us some hearts, some likes in the comments if you're liking what you're seeing here. It's always good. We like to know if this is resonating. I think it is though, because this is stuff I'm learning from you. And you know, it's been a while since we've chatted. You know, these intricacy ideas and techniques. You know. Yep.
Yeah. So the one thing I did want to mention, which this stuff is so new that let me just bring it up here so I can share this with you. But the local guides program, let me just bring it up so I can show you guys on my screen, is another way that we get GMBs out there. And it's a little more involved. I mean, it's not hard to do, but it's a little more involved. Local guides, though, is a way, I don't know if you know this, but you can actually put up a listing through the local guides program.
I didn't know that.
And so the key about these ones, again, this is why they're good for testing a market and they're good for just spreading yourself throughout the city. because they're not verified. Local guides program are just unclaimed listings that you're putting on the map.
Got it.
So again, that's why, let's say you got a hot market and you want to spread throughout your city. Again, it doesn't matter if your GMB isn't that awesome. If the user is like 1 block away from it, that's the one that's going to be number one on their phone.
Right.
So that's what you're going for with the local guide. It's another way you can spread yourself. This is another way we get like these listings out there. It's another way you can spread your listings throughout a city and not have to put hardly any money out, any effort out at all, except for just the time. I mean, for us, we outsource it, so it's money to pay an outsourcer. But so there's a whole in my paid course, we have a whole complicated thing about how you can put these listings out there, then you can approve them yourself and all this stuff with phones and GPS and all this stuff. But you actually might be able to right now on your phone just put up a listing on Google Maps. Just try it with your phone. So all you do is you go to, and actually I can't show my phone here, but you go into your phone, and on the Maps app on the left, there's like a link that's called contributions. You can kind of see it right here in the screen view. It says,
do you go to the google.com/local guides first?
No, so you're not in your browser. You're actually in Google Maps.
Oh, okay.
In the Google Maps app, when you click at the top and it brings down a menu where you can like add traffic to the map, or you can, do different things. You can add different layers to the map. One of those links is contribute, or it might be called My Contributions. And that'll bring up a place where you can actually add.
Yeah, it says your I'm looking at it right now.
Your contribution.
I'm in the map app. I'm looking at like the whole map of where I'm at, and it says your contributions.
Yeah. So if you try to add a listing like right where you are, like physically where you are, like say you're in a cafe or something, and you have some history, and it's like, let's say you've been doing reviews, you take a photo of your food, you put that on Google Maps, you do stuff like that, just normal stuff. You might be able to add a listing right now, right through your phone. So give it a shot. And it's now to do like 10 or 20 in one niche, you're going to need like the advanced stuff in my training, because there's ways you have to, there's just different ways you have to do it once you scale it to like 10 or 20 listings. But if you're just putting up 1 or 2, you might be able to do it right now through your phone. Now, the key is that with the local guides thing is you're going for volume, not quality. Because
right.
Again, some of them are going to approve, some of them aren't. Some are going to work, some aren't. And so it's not something you're investing a lot of time and money in, but it can be huge if you're trying to pepper an area, and which is what we do. And it really adds up to a lot of calls once you have a lot of these out there. So local guides is kind of another way. Again, in my course, we have like a whole ninja section on local guides because there's a lot to it. There's a whole algorithm that Google uses to approve or disapprove. And sometimes stuff goes pending, and it has to be approved by actually another local guides user. So it goes into a list for someone else to look at. There's this whole complicated thing, which we talk about in the course. But the fact is, if you have a local guides account, you could probably add one. You might be able to add one listing right now. And you're not going to be able to add one for like a plumber. Not plumber, a locksmith. Okay, like locksmiths. Some of these like super
chalk the locksmith niche up. Let's just chalk it up now.
Just chalk it up, man. Some of these niches are so just insane that there's no way Google ever approves anything. But if you've got a little under the radar niche that a lot of people don't know about, that's not like on Google's radar, a lot of times they just let it right through. So, I mean, we have a way to kind of really increase your approval rate. So you're getting really approval after approval after approval. That's in the course. But just try it, give it a shot. You might be able to just add it right now through your phone if you've got some reviews in there.
Perfect. I love it. Yeah, I was just looking. I'm apparently, because I've been around so long on Google, I'm a level 5 local guide.
Boom. Nice.
And then I was looking back, and like I've taken some pictures like over the years. I guess it's all tracked to my account. One picture had 500,000 views on it that I posted.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, that's you probably other people are going to look on there and realize that too, that Google's really using your information for their own platform. Okay, I'm going to show you another ranking trick. And let me just get into my thing here. So this is a ranking trick that a lot of people don't know about. And this has to do with the pin, with your pin. Hold on, let me do this. This is a fake. This is not a verified listing or anything. This is just like a listing I just have. But if you go into your GMB and you click on it, and then you click edit. Again, this one's not verified, so this is not going to appear live, but it'll show you how it works. Everyone's probably seen this screen before. Then you click this little edit button, and it brings up this thing where you could change your address. You can actually move this pin around and save it. And so the default where the pin's gonna be is where this actual address is. But if you drag the pin, like let's say, so 3835 Sacramento, okay, this is like an industrial area. But say you're like, oh man, over here is where everybody lives. You can drag your pin just over into the populated area and then click apply and save the new location. So the official address will stay 3835 South Sacramento, but the proximity to where it's going to show up is going to in the searches, where it's going to show up in the searches is going to be where the pin is, because the pin is what Google uses to determine how close is the searcher to this listing. So again, if you've got an actual brick and mortar where people actually drive to it, don't do this because it can mess up the directions. But if you've got like a lead gen that's not an actual brick and mortar and you've got the address hidden, no one's actually driving to it, you can experiment with moving the pin around to try to rank in different areas. And so now if you try to do crazy, I know guys that do crazy stuff, like try to move it like 300 miles and stuff like that. Okay, do that stuff at your own risk. I'm talking about tweaking the pin location. I mean, if you have a GMB you don't care about, you could try to drag it like across a state into another state and stuff like that. But I'm just talking about where you're like, man, I'm over here, my pin's over here, but really like I know everyone's searching over here. Or we talked in the other video about these commercial corridors.
Right.
If you want to move your pin like, half a mile into a commercial corridor, you can mess around with stuff like that to try to adjust where you're showing up for the ranking. And then try to keep track of where you put it, because if you're checking later, am I ranking? You're going to have to check, am I ranking where that pin is, not where the address is. So hopefully that makes sense. But this can also help you if you're being filtered. So I've seen people in the group say, hey, my GMB doesn't show up like at all. And sometimes that can mean you're too close to another business with the exact same niche, like exact same category. If you're too close, Google will sometimes only show one or the other.
Right.
And so it's not like they're penalizing you. It's just like they have to pick what to show to a user. And so they'll pick the stronger one. So I've been reading in the group, I've seen some people say, hey, yeah, I used to not show up. And then like I did a bunch of backlinks and then I showed up. Well, what that means is Google said, oh, you're the stronger one. We'll show you instead of this other guy that's a block away. But moving the pin can help, because that can move you off of, like, if you're right on top of somebody else, or it could even be within the same block. Google might say, a little too close. We're just going to show only one of you guys. Just move your pin to try to get yourself off of that filter, so that then Google will show you and the other person. And obviously then you don't want to move it too far. Totally. But if you're trying to get into an area, yeah, you can just drag yourself a little farther away to try to get out of that filter, which is not a lot of people know about that, but it's a great way to solve that filtering problem.
Perfect.
I don't know if you guys talk about the filter at all, but it can be a real frustration for people.
I haven't talked too much about it, but
yeah, if you got a problem like that where you're not showing up, it doesn't necessarily mean like Google hates you. It just means you might be too close to somebody else and they're trying to figure out who to show. Okay, I want to get into some backlinking stuff. Is that cool?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. let me show my screen again here. I want to show here. Let me just look this up. So backlinking your citations is a huge thing that you can do for your ranking. And what backlinking your citations does is, and let me just look this up. Let me just show you my screen real quick. So what backlinking your citations does is it helps you to, hold on a sec here, get my screen share going. So I just did a search here, grain routing 60610, Chicago area zip code. What backlinking your citations does is helps your citations to rank in the local, what we call local organic, which is under the map.
Right.
Let me actually show it like this. So it brings up a map. You can rank, what you want to do is, if you, okay, this is for people too, if you've got a winner, $500 a month, even $250 a month lead gen, that's a winner.
Yep.
Man, what you want to do is you want to show up also in all these slots as well. And that's where backlinking your citations comes in, because your Yelp, for instance, let's say you've got a lead gen, it has a Yelp page, and I see Google considers Yelp a relevant domain to display a local search, obviously. I want my drain routing lead gen citation to be here instead of this category page, which
right.
You can totally do by backlinking it. You could actually pop in here, and this category page that I'm highlighting will pop out. And that comes from adding value to the actual citation page. Now, don't go out and do it automatically on Yelp. What you want to do is do a search for your niche and find out what citation sites does Google think are most relevant to my niche. Because for different ones, you're going to have, like for medical ones, they're going to be different. For
right.
dentists, they're going to be different. For each one, it's going to be a little bit different. And those are the ones you want to target. So let's say for routing, drain routing, I know that they like Yelp. There's actually, let me go back to the other search because there were more. Let's see here. So you can see they like Yelp. They like Thumbtack. See here. Mm-hmm. They like. There was another one down here when I looked at it. A lot of local guys in here. That's awesome. Home Advisor. I see that down here. So I would go out then. I have those three. I'd say, okay, I want my Yelp citation. I want my Home Advisor citation and my Thumbtack citation. I want all three of those to be up on top. And then you can just backlink. And here's the nice thing about these citations. A site like Yelp is so powerful. It's so authoritative to Google. There's nothing you can do to hurt it. So if you're sending backlinks to your actual lead gen website, I would not send like any kind of crazy automated, like, I mean, maybe you warn against this in your
yeah, we say, hey, keep away from the Fivers and the softwares that, like, for your lead gen sites, because those are like fresh little virgins.
Yeah, exactly. Keep away from that really dirty stuff for your lead gens. Yes. But man, for a citation page on Yelp, there's nothing you could do to hurt Yelp. And you can backlink the heck out of these things, and they will increase in rank. In fact, I know guys that have talked about backlinking like a Yelp type page with the word Viagra. Like 10,000 links with the keyword Viagra, and that thing will still move up.
Right. Because it's just a little blip. If you're like fairly new and you don't understand backlinking, get through that in the training first.
Yep.
Definitely never want to do any of this stuff to your main site, like we just said. But
totally.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like I would love to know, like, maybe like a source or something that we could refer everyone to for some of these kind of, we'll call them dirtier, like backlinks. But again, you're only using them for these citation sources that you're trying to rank and pull up.
Yep. So one place where you can buy these links. So in my members area, we teach some software you can actually use. It's kind of like higher end Black Hat software that you could use to do your own.
Yep.
if you don't want to tackle that and you just want to hire it out, you can go down here to the buy, sell, trade area of Wickedfire is one place where you could buy backlinks. And you just go down here, you go down to links and SEO, you click in there, and you just, and actually in my course, we talk about how to pick a good link buyer, because sometimes some of these guys are more reputable than others.
Yeah.
But in general, if they have a lot of good reviews that are recent, people reporting like, hey, I saw a good ranking benefit from this service, you could send those types of links to your citation pages all day long and actually help them. And the other thing that it does for you, it actually, in the resource page, I have a guy that I've recently used for this, that we could put on the resource page. You could just buy them straight from him too.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah, just for many people that are in this, we taught them their first internet business and they won.
Yeah,
and then you're like exposing them to like
the underworld,
Wickedfire, which is like the deeper, darker web. But there's still resources you can grab in there that are valuable for some of these techniques that Chad's training you. I just try to keep you guys away from that stuff because I know it could be a really deep, dark, dirty hole that you can get into, and all of a sudden you get sold on one of their sales letters that you should be buying these links for your main lead gen, and all of a sudden you
don't do that.
Your business.
Yeah, you don't want to like buy those types of links for an actual lead gen. That would only be for like a massive site that there's no way you could hurt.
Right. So you're going to leave in the resource section, which we'll have for everyone for today's links from everything you discussed. You'll have like an actual a service provider that you use for like ranking your Yelp listing and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So now this guy, so I'm not saying I would say this guy is a reputable business guy. Yeah. I'm not saying his links or something I would send to your lead gen. I want to be clear.
No, of course. So
this guy is honest. He'll give you what you pay for, but what you're paying for is basically kind of like the underbelly of backlinks. The advantage of them is that they're automated, and you can get a large number of them really fast. And that's part of what helps you to rank quickly if a site can take the abuse. So you need a site like Yelp. It's just so massive. It could take all kinds of abuse and still be fine. That's why I say, that
right.
You can use this guy. So yeah, that'll be in the resources, gmbking.com.
You want to talk about that Wikipedia stuff?
Yeah, let me just say one other thing, advantage of backlinking your citations real quick. So just real quick.
Okay.
The other advantage to backlinking your citations is that the link juice flows through the citation. So this is just a random plumber I found. But you see he's got his website right here. And the link juice from those links, so this is like link juice, kind of like a vague term, but the links, if there's all these links pointing, let's say, to this Yelp page that you see right here, and then, so this Yelp page got all this link juice that's in it, then that gets passed on to his website right here, which then helps his website rank.
Right.
And so that's the other advantage. So it's a win-win. Not only will this Yelp page go up in Google and take up additional slots so that you get all those calls, but also it's helping your main site to rank because the juice all eventually filters down to you. Now, the one thing about that you want to make sure is that we're going to get into the code here, but is that the link itself is what we call is not a no followed link. So, or like a redirect. Okay. And this is getting a little high tech, I know, for some folks here, but this, what I highlighted here, this is the code on the page that shows the link in the code side. And what Yelp has done, which is kind of sneaky, is they've actually put a redirect in here. So actually this guy won't get the link juice. So some citations put a code like this, and some citations it's just a straight free link and all the juice flows through to you. And so if you basically want to look for a redirect like this in the code, or you want to look for a little tag that says no follow. If you see either of those things in this little code snippet around the code, that means you're not going to get the juice from it. So I know that's like high tech stuff, but I don't want everybody to think, hey, if I backlink my Yelp page, it'll help my website.
Right.
But now actually in my members area of my course, we actually went through like hundreds of these things and found like a big list of all the ones that actually passed the juice.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and we try to keep that fairly updated. If you buy my course and you look at the list and you find one that isn't, make sure and let me know so we can get it off there. But for the most part, if you backlink the heck out of all those ones in our list, that juice is going to flow through to your site. So not only will that citations page rank, but it'll also help you to
two birds, one stone. I love it.
Two birds, one stone. Yeah. And man, Yelp listings. I mean, even though Yelp's kind of sneaky and they're like, they're not letting you like benefit from the link juice. Still Yelp is worth ranking. I mean, on its own, you'll get calls just off of Yelp. I mean, I've got lead gens where it's like, I know people are calling just off the Yelp itself. It's ranking like right under the map. But you know, it can really add to your call volume.
Yeah, it's a trusted source. I mean, might as well get it on there. It's free.
Yep.
You don't need to go and buy the Yelp. They'll call you and try to sell you their Yelp advertising. You don't need to buy that. So don't do that. Don't get nailed there. But yeah, absolutely. It's a great technique and free.
Yep. And free. Yeah, it's free. And they have their own users too. So like you could actually rank on Yelp as well, people searching in Yelp for your niche and get even more calls. Okay, let's talk about Wikipedia. So now I also encourage people to get backlinks from Wikipedia, which is easier than you think. And the reason why, a lot of people, so if you know about do follow, no follow, the Yelp backlinks are no followed, which means link juice doesn't pass through, but it's a huge trust signal to Google because for the most part, it's really hard to get a link on Wikipedia. So if Google sees that your lead gen site has a link off Wikipedia, they're like, oh man, this site is trusted by Wikipedia. That must mean that they're a good site. So it's a huge trust factor for Google. Also, it's a lot of people copy Wikipedia articles onto their own site, and they'll copy your backlink along with it. So for instance, this article right here on Cleopatra, say for instance, there's people that are like researchers and all types of people will just copy this entire article and put it on their own site. So then they're also copying your backlink. You're going to end up on all types of sites all over the internet just by getting one link on Wikipedia. And the way, for instance, I had this one client that was a lawn care company. So what we did was, and you could do this too, is we put an article on his site about like some weird just like fungus that like kills your grass. All right. And then we just added a little paragraph, which anybody can do. So if you go up here to Wikipedia and you click on
contribution.
Yeah. View source right here. And this is going to be a bunch of gobbledygook code, but you can actually just scroll down and find the article. So I scrolled down. Now you can see this is actually the article here that's in the code. And you can literally just hit return and just type in your own content about that specific like fungus is what we did. And then what we did was, which you can do too, is I added my client's site as a citation. So you see here, Wikipedia wants everything to be a citation. So you see this highlighted sentence at the very end, we've got a citation, which is number 8, which shows where they got this information. If you click on it, it goes to the bottom of the article, and up here is the link to where that information came from. So my client was right here in this citations list as an authoritative source that Wikipedia considers authoritative for this fungus. All right. That's just one way that you can get a backlink on Wikipedia. Actually, in my course, we have a whole bunch of other ways, and we even have ways you can actually get citations on Wikipedia, which is really powerful. Like a citation, like your business name and address listed on Wikipedia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the reason why, and that's actually really hard to do. There's some tricks to getting it on there. Most of the time you'll get rejected if you don't know how to do it. But here's the powerful thing about getting your name, address, and phone number on Wikipedia is, let me show you this real quick. If you do a search for like, let's say Roto-Rooter, and you look right here, actually Google Local or Google Maps actually pulls information from Wikipedia and like inserts it into the local listing here on the right. See how the headquarters, parent organizations, when it was founded, number of employees, the description of the business is all from Wikipedia. And so if you can get a Wikipedia article in there, it's obviously Google is really like, they think really highly of Wikipedia, and it's going to be a huge benefit to your site ranking factor. And I've seen like, there's some tricks, like we've had, like we can get like Wikipedia articles that link directly to our citations and stuff like that. We've seen our citations bump up just from one Wikipedia link. Your citation goes from like page 2 all the way on to page 1. So, and we teach all kinds of like ninja tricks about Wikipedia in the course. But I would encourage you to do it if you can. See if you can get an article on there, and then link to an article about that on Wikipedia. Get a backlink from it, and it's going to help you out a lot. And if you have a knowledge panel like this, for instance, like say this La Barca restaurant is like, I like to use as an example. It's just a taco joint, but Wikipedia, if they got Wikipedia information, that stuff will start to show up in this knowledge panel. So you can actually get additional real estate here on the front page where Wikipedia is inserting information into the Google results.
Sick.
Yeah. And you want to do that. I mean, you want to take up the reason why I'm talking about all this stuff is the main goal is you want to take up the whole first page.
Sure.
I mean, if you've got a plumber lead gen, you want to be in the map, you want to be under the map, you want your photos to show up, you want your like Yelp listing to show up. You want to take over the whole first page so that no matter where people go, they call you.
Sure.
And that's really what this is about.
I love it.
Okay, good. Another ranking tip for you. I know you guys talk about this in the training, but make sure you try to squeeze your keyword in the business name. This is a huge, I've seen like, it's actually a problem to Google. They don't know how to fix it because they don't want to get away from that. But like, it's a huge ranking factor. Your keyword in the business name is a massive ranking factor. Now, if you can, try to make it sound like an actual business. Like I like the example of Roto-Rooter because it's like, they could put like Roto-Rooter drain cleaning and it sounds like a brand, right? But the keyword's in there. Drain cleaning is the ranking benefit. So make it sound like a real company, but see if you can squeeze your keyword in there. Don't overdo it though. Like don't put like 3 keyword phrases in there as your
up that spam score, which is on the resource page for you guys. If you didn't read through that
exactly
patent, you might want to.
Yeah, keep your spam score. Other thing, which we talked about last time, is photospheres. Google Trusted Photography is another huge ranking thing. Again, we talked about that in the last video, kind of how you can do that. But if you can get a trusted photographer to come out for a couple $100 and we've seen our listings pop up to where we were number 3, or maybe we weren't even in the local pack. All of a sudden we popped in and we were number 1. Just the only change we made was just to get a photographer to come out. Yeah. And I actually saw some guys on the chat that were like saying they were trusted photographers. So I don't know if we could figure that out somehow, but
I saw that too. It's funny though, like I'm listening to you, in the way that you do business. I think there's some takeaways that people need to hopefully they're catching them. But I'm going to point them out. Just the way that you and your brother are willing to spend on your craft and like testing, and you guys like have done this forever, which is why all these crazy little things, and you'll spend a couple $100 here or a couple $100 there, and you understand because when these things hit, we really don't have any overhead other than the knowledge in our brain of how to do what we're doing, and like some of these little things like the trusted photographer or some backlinks or whatever. And so I think oftentimes when people haven't been entrepreneurs, spending money on the business, like for all the little expenses that come up, they start to contract, when in reality you need to be expanding into this craft and expanding into testing and expanding into new trainings and listening to guys like you or what have you. And I remember before we started JK, I talked about this on some of the calls, I needed to know a technique. I paid you $750 for, I think, 40 minutes of your time to get on the phone with you, and you taught me a technique because I knew that technique I was going to be able to use to make so much money.
Yeah.
And I think oftentimes if you're not an entrepreneur at heart and you're trying to get into this space of being fully entrepreneurial, it's so hard for us to spend money on craft because you're not fully believing, you haven't fully bought in. But I'm just listening to all the different things that you've tested and you try and you're spending here and you're spending there. If it doesn't work, you don't just give up and hit the road and quit and go back and get a job. You just keep at it, you know? And I think it's hard for people to get in that mindset if they've been employees for their entire life because they're just used to getting a paycheck and just showing up and trading their time, getting a paycheck, showing up, trading their time. And you know what? That's great for some people, but I think this collective group, I think we've amassed a group of people that ultimately aspire to be entrepreneurs and have a business that serves them instead of them going and serving a boss for their entire life. And you got to listen to guys like Chad who have been in the space, who's been free of a job for since 99. You've been free of a job?
Yeah, 1999.
Yeah. And there's something to living life on your own terms. And I know that's where everyone wants to get, but I want you to take the nuggets, not only the technical nuggets he's giving you, but the underlying nuggets that I'm picking up of how this guy spends and works on his business and keeps at it, even when something's not ranking. He's trying different things. And so take these nuggets, but also take the underlying nuggets.
Yeah, and even just especially if you have income coming in, don't spend it all. You know,
hey, that's a great tip.
Yeah, it's a basic thing, but
best tip of the day.
put some away, or put some away to spend to reinvest in yourself, in your knowledge, and I mean, I was talking to my kids last night at dinner. I was saying, you know, don't eat your seeds. You know, like it's a basic farming principle. If you eat all your seed, the next year you can't plant anything, you know? So yeah, you want to reinvest that into like the future of your business. At least
testing some of these things like the Google the photographer thing. It's like, do I want to spend a couple $100? And if it doesn't work, that sucks. But it's like, but what if it does give you that extra one piece of an edge and that lead gen site turns into from a 500 to a 5,000 because it's just churning and burning now. Like that's totally my window tint business. You know, I took all the techniques, what I learned from you, and that was one of my very first clients, and I ended up buying the business from. I don't know if I've told you the story.
No.
But you know, that business, like just some of the weird techniques from way back in the day that you taught me, and I had to spend some money, and like that number one spot was worth $500,000 a year in gross revenue. The guy who was in number two turned out about $110,000. The difference between spot one and spot two. And I knew this because I was running the business as the owner. From just little small things can make incredible differences.
Yep.
Hey, so this is what I want to do. I want, can you bring up easylocalcash.com real quick?
Yeah.
I want to, you've kind of talked about your training. Like, I don't know if any of you guys watch while you're pulling this up, any of you guys watch the video I put up on the other page. Like I'm fairly transparent in JK. Like I pretty much like everyone to know what I'm doing, how it's working. And that's worked really well for me. Chad and I got together, you know, because I came to him about 8-9 months ago, and I said, "Hey, man, I know you're the top dog when it comes to Google Local, and I think there's a lot of SEOers. I think there's a lot of people out there that could really use your stuff. And I know you're not currently selling it, right?
Right.
We're not. I'd like to kind of take over the phone sales. My team, I have a big team of guys. People know that in JK that we have all these guys that work the phones for different things that we offer. And so we kind of put that agreement together over the summer, and then, you know, we're kind of getting this thing rolling. And as we've kind of pushed this out to the group and had you on the last 2 days, you know, I want people to know that this training Chad keeps talking about is going to be kind of like almost like a JK price point product. It's going to sell on the phone for like $3,000. But when I had Chad on, I said, "Hey, would you do something special for me? And would you allow the people who want, of course, people that are brand new, you know, this isn't for you yet. You need to get through the basics, the fundamentals that we teach you in the training. But there's people that have been here a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, have huge businesses and they want to keep adding to their tool set. I said, instead of doing on the phone call, I know these people very well. They're my friends. I'm with them every week. Can we offer this like entire training that you have for like a third of the price? Yeah. And so that's kind of what I wanted you to bring up and kind of show like how much has went into this. This is the culmination of like 10, 15 years of working in maps and testing and software and you and your brother. So just want to kind of show people and kind of click into each one of those to show how in depth this stuff is.
Yeah. So these are all the categories. And this is all, a lot of this stuff is like brand new created. Because again, like haven't been selling this for a couple of years. I've just been doing my own lead gen stuff on this massive scale. And so I talked to Dan and we kind of revamped the whole course. A lot of this stuff is brand new. But if you go in, I mean, this is like each one of these sections is a video where we've, got all the stuff, and we've got white hat. Okay. So this is like, if you've got a client already or a couple clients and they're regular brick and mortars and you're not trying to do anything, dangerous at all. We got a whole section just on the white hat stuff. And the local ranking algorithm. And we've got general stuff about creating and optimization of your listing itself. We talk a lot about citations, a lot of creative ways to get citations. Some of them I talked about today, but there's a lot of stuff here that like most people don't know about as far as getting citations and like all citations aren't created equal. And you really want to know which ones to spend your time on. Some of them that no one spends any time on are actually super powerful for ranking and not that hard to get. And then we've got a whole section on the local guides program as well, which I talked about. I talked about that a few minutes ago. But this is the local guides program it's new to Google. So I don't know if you guys knew this, but it's like maybe a year old or something like that in its current form. And a lot of the stuff in the local guides program, no one knows about. And especially like on a really large scale, like setting up listings and how to make it work and how to increase, like you said, you're a level 5, Dan. Yeah. There's a lot of ways you can automate and replicate that, get a bunch of level 5s. That's the type of stuff we're doing. We have like all kinds of local guides accounts that can do different things. But there's a real specific way you need to do it. So we have a whole section just on that. And this, I would say, is like, even if you are like saying, man, I don't want to create like 50 listings in my city, but you have clients. I see on like the Google Forms, a lot of times client problems, people have client issues. They can't figure out, why can't I get this phone number switched? Why does this keep happening? And the people that come out of those forums and fix it are high-powered local guides. Yep. So if you're a local guide and you know how to work the local guides program, you can be like an internet like wizard like to your clients. I mean, they'll be like, man, it's like magical what you do. Yeah. It's a really powerful program that not a lot of people know how to really utilize. So we've got a whole bunch of stuff on that. Actually, we have a brand new video going into that just in the next couple of days that we're going to be putting in there. And then we've got a whole black hat section. I'm not going to click into it because it's going to give away some of the techniques.
Scary.
Yeah. But this is for like, talks about like how we scale on a national level, just massive, on just a massive scale. And if that's something you really want to do, you really need to start getting into automation. And for Google, pretty much black hat again, and I actually have a whole video just explaining what black hat means. Again, it doesn't mean illegal. It means against Google's terms of service, basically anything that they don't want you to do. And really, Google doesn't even want you to use anything automated. So like automating backlinks or automating with software, any type of thing they don't want you to do. But so we talk about all that stuff in there, like how to automate it, how to do stuff on a really large scale. In there, we also have the whole method with getting the Craigslist method that we have, where we've got like autoresponders going and all types of automation to make those Craigslist listings be able to really multiply on a daily basis. So we talk about our exact systems. This isn't the only way we get our listings out, but it's a really doable way that pretty much anyone can do if you just can set up the system. So we have that whole system in there.
Yeah, that's one thing I like. I do notice about you. is you always have multiple systems for different cogs that can get blocked. You don't just bet your entire chips on one thing. It's like, I got this going, I got this going, I got this going. I remember even when we had some like, hey, we can get you verification in GMB, you even reached out to me. He's like, yeah, I want to add that. I want more. Because you just see the lead gens as like cash, right? So as many ways possible for you to get verifications, you're in, you know?
I told you I wanted to buy 1,000.
I know.
Oh man. Okay. So like, this postcard thing, I mean, could really, I just want to say you've already done the research. You've already got a winning lead gen out there. You really need to start spreading out and just multiplying that thing in your city and in the cities around you. You're going to be able to charge more. You know, you're going to be able to sell those calls to other people. And once you've got a winning niche and a winning location, you know, starting to expand that out into leveraging that is what you want to do. And so that's where the Black Hat section comes in, the Craigslist method, and all the ways that we automate doing this stuff really fast and without all the grunt work is really the key. You know, we talk about software in there and stuff. And again, we teach it from like a basic user's level. So even if you've never done any of this stuff before, you can get all the knowledge that you need to get up to speed. And you don't have to be a super high tech person to be able to do this stuff. You just have to be willing to learn. So we explain it all in detail in the videos. And we also have regular webinars, kind of like you guys do in JK, where we cover people's questions and anything that you need.
Actually, that's a question that came up to me is like, Are you going to have a little private Facebook group for people that do this?
Yeah. So we're going to have a Facebook group, and we're also going to do just like webinars similar to what you do, where you could actually get on, you could type in your question, and I can do it. Also, my brother gets on the webinars. He's kind of a Google Maps expert in his own right. He's kind of behind the scenes, but he gets on those too. So if you get stuck with clients, or if you get stuck trying to get, like, I see so many questions in there about different GMB type issues. We can a lot of times solve those right on one of those webinars, and look into the issue right there. Okay, good. And also reviews. This is another thing that's really important with ranking and with getting eyeballs to look at your listing is reviews. And we have a whole section I'm not going to click in again, the Black Hat section and White Hat both, for really getting a ton of reviews. And I don't know if you guys knew this, but some reviewers are much more powerful.
Yeah, like me.
Yeah, exactly. You're a level 5.
Right.
So if you put a review, that's going to affect that business owner's listing much more than someone who never did a review before. And there's actually a way you can actually get these high-powered reviewers to review for you, but still stay inside Google's guidelines if you want to be white hat about it. There's also ways you can do it on the Black Hat side. Again, we never advocate fake reviews, but there still are some things that you can do that are more on the automated side to get a lot of reviews for your listings, and that's going to help your ranking as well and your click-throughs. So people actually, you might be number 2, but if you have reviews and the guy on top has no reviews, everyone's going to click on yours first.
Right.
So we talk a lot about reviews and how to get those. I never hear anybody talk about some of the review stuff that we teach. That's really key to having a well-rounded listing that's going to last for a long time. And some of the software I talked about, like I know earlier I talked about buying links, or you can actually do it yourself. So you could actually learn in my course some of this backlinking software yourself and automate a lot of the backlinks just from your own computer with the software that we teach. So that's in there. That's more in the Black Hat side again, because it's automated. So it's just like you click a button and then the software does it for you.
Right.
It's kind of the secret weapon of like the Black Hat community, but it can also be even used for white hat purposes. And we talk about that in the course as well. If you want to keep things squeaky clean, but you want to automate it, there's a certain way you need to do that, because for Google, automation is bad. So they need you to, there's certain ways you need to use the software to stay clean. and we talk about that stuff in the course as well. So there's so much in there. I mean, I could literally sit here.
Dude, it's incredible. Like the amount of resources that, especially how it's all around GMB, which is like I say, I'm taking everyone who comes into JK from basic hatchling. Oftentimes, we're getting a website up, we're learning tracking numbers, we're getting a GMB, we're learning backlinks, we're learning content, we're doing like this, we're learning citations, and so then this is like specialized information on this one piece of the entire JK process. And so like I bring Chad on because it's like he's an expert. He goes so deep and so wide on this one topic, which I know we have so many questions on. And so I think it's a really good resource to add to your tool belt. I mean, this is how I got started. This is obviously been updated, but this is what I bought initially to learn Google Maps, was your stuff, right? This is why I have to be the doctor in 10 minutes here to go my shoulder checked out. It's because I was trying to find that thing to show on camera from like 9 years ago. So listen, so here's the deal. So Chad's made this available at basically like a 66% discount of what it's going to sell to the general public, to the JKers, which is awesome. So first of all, thank you for that. I think everyone's appreciative. Secondly, he's allowed you to break it up in payments. So you can break it up in 2 or 3 payments. So literally, I think it's like a couple $100 to get into the thing. This is going to be a resource that you're going to utilize if you're going to be in the local space. It's going to be something that will make its money back for you 10 times over, in my opinion. But 6 months ago, I was talking to you on the phone and you told me something, and someone asked this question on the live stream and you kind of played it coy. You gave the right answer, but I know, and I want to talk about it because I kind of, after the call, I hit you up about this. But 6 months ago, you said, yeah, for the last 10 or so years, we've been collecting the numbers of Google when they call our tracking lines because we have thousands of these listings, and we've been doing this between a few different people. And we literally have a suppression list that basically gets uploaded into our phone software. And when the call comes from Google, instead of it going to the business owner and you having to train the business owner like we talked about the other day, which is the right way to do it if you don't have this list that's worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I got off the webinar and I was like, hey, 6 months ago when you told me that you had this list, I went into our developers in CallSling and I built a whole section because I figured at some point we would work together and that list would be really valuable for all these JKers.
You're a smart man.
So we built this, right? So yesterday I called up Chad and I was like, hey, for the people that want to join the training for a limited time, can we allow the list to be put into their CallSling account so that when a Google phone, obviously you guys you've collected numbers. There's always going to be new numbers, but you've got this huge list of numbers. So basically, guys, as a bonus for anyone that jumps into Chad's training, we're going to keep it open for a limited amount of time. And then, like I said, it's going to sell all over the phone only, and it's going to sell for $29.95 without this bonus. But anyone who grabs it from this group is not only going to get the 66% off and get the entire program for $9.99, get into his Facebook group, be able to chat with him, and not one-on-one, but in the group like JK style. But you're also going to get this suppression list. It's something that him and a couple other high-level marketers have put together with all these Google phone numbers that call to re-verify your listing. So let me tell you the magnitude of something like this. You guys have one listing that's paying, and Google calls, and the business owner screws it up. That listing could get erased, and it creates a bunch of extra work for you. So what we'll do is essentially we'll take this list, we'll put it into your specific CallSling accounts on all your different campaigns. And when a Google phone number that's in that list calls, it will reroute the call instead of going to your business owner, and it will go to your choice. I would take the call myself if it was me, or you could train a phone center if you get into the large scale like Chad is at, where they take the call and he talks about this inside the training, and he'll cover this with you. This list alone is not for sale. He had to go to a partner to get this approved. But as a bonus, it's a limited time bonus for people that join up. All the people that got the training who kind of snuck in over the last 2 days, you guys are all going to get this too. So this is like a little unseen bonus that you got that's worth the price of admission alone. People would pay $10,000 plus just for this list that are in this game because, one listing that makes you $1,000 a month or $500 a month is $6,000 to $12,000 a year. Like if it goes away, man, your income goes away. So having these little extra pieces in your puzzle that you've produced. You sneaky man. These little things that you guys have put together, man. These are how the guys that are playing on the 1,000+ listings are playing. They have little things like this that they've created that are incredibly valuable. We will administer it. We will put it into your CallSling account. That was the deal I made with Chad. He doesn't want the list being then given out and shared to everyone. So those numbers will be uploaded into your CallSling account. The JK team will do that. If you don't have a CallSling account, it will not work. It's not built into other systems. Chad has his own personal system that he does not sell that he's been able to do a similar thing with. So if you don't use CallSling, you won't be able to get this list. Like, we won't send you a PDF of it or a download of it. We will actually put it in with our programmers into your CallSling account. So it might be a good time to switch your numbers over if you went somewhere else, because this stuff is going to be killer. So I'm going to close up because my wife is texting me telling me that I have a doctor's appointment. It's the first time I've seen a doctor since I fell through my ceiling. But we're going to put a link. If you want to grab Chad's training, we're going to put a link, limited time. The bonus will go away after a certain amount of time. So be an early adopter of this thing. Get in. It's a resource you're going to use. Chad, do you have anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I did. Real quick, there was one other bonus that I actually didn't tell you about, Dan, but you've been bugging me so much about, like, how can they get a lot of listings out there? And so I have a video. It's a local guides video. It's actually some stuff I never taught before that we just have developed. And it's about exactly that, getting a lot of listings with local guides, but it's a really efficient way to do it using some mobile technology that it's pretty simple, but no one knows how to do this. And except for one other guy that helped me do it. So I don't want this to get out either. So this is going to be a limited thing too, just for folks right here in JK during this period of time.
Okay, cool.
And we'll let you guys all watch it and stuff, and then we'll probably take that video down as well, because it's again, you'll have all the local guide system in there. But this is like a really quick and fast way to use local guides to get these listings out. And so we're going to put that one in there as well into the course, just for this period though. So you guys get in there, get to the local guide section and watch it. And that's just for the folks that buy right now as well. Okay, cool. So to recap, basically you're going to get, because you're a JK student, you're going to get this upper level GMB training that Chad's put together. I don't know how many videos it is, but it's so in depth. It's probably, 90 videos plus. I should have counted them up, but I didn't. It's crazy, because I remember us putting it all together behind the password, and I was like, dude, there's so many of these videos. So you're going to get that, and you're going to get it at the special JK price, where we will not be doing a phone call with you. So you'll have a buy now. You can pick a payment option. So a 2-pay or 3-pay or pay in full will get your best value. You're going to get the bonus of the suppression list put into your CallSling account. So if a Google number calls to re-verify one of your listings, you can reroute it away from your business owner so he or she does not screw up your listing and get it taken down. So you'll be able to answer that call for them or send it off to a call center. And then the local guides, kind of upper echelon training of getting more listings out there that I didn't know. I'm glad you sprung it on me. Yeah. So guys, limited time. We'll probably do the first 100 people for this initial CallSling bonus. We will probably sell this as a standalone product and I got to talk to you about this, but I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but I'd like to sell this as a standalone product for people that have CallSling accounts that want this. They'll probably sell it in the store for $1,000, this suppression list. It's worth probably more than that. We'll talk about that, but it's a bonus. First 100 people, once it's gone. It'll probably just go into the store. So make a move on it. Other than that, guys, I got to get to the doctor. I appreciate all the nuggets you shared. More than I thought you were going to share. The Wikipedia thing was sick. I didn't know that. Just those little things, guys. Take what he gave you. If this isn't for you right now, take what he gave you and apply it. All that stuff is like gold stuff that I didn't teach you that he just did. So thanks again for jumping on. Awesome, guys. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. All right. We'll talk soon. Later. Talk to you later.